Hi, it's Dave. I'm back. Dave Neely. Thanks for your time and your patience yesterday. It was a little bit distracting with the technical problems, but I'm just going to go through a little bit of what we talked about, and I'm going to send you this. This is my Google Doc. I'm going to send you this in a note. But basically, we talked about your expectations to understand each other, styles and weakness, and show how that we're on the same page. We talked about why it's important for us to work together, and that we need to be a unified unit despite differences in our role. We work well together, respect, trust is high, which is very important. Your three high S's in that, and that trust and respect is a huge, huge issue with each other. What can we do better? Get together more regularly, daily huddles, weekly, have a good weekly meeting. Show staff how unified we are, and manage how you're perceived. And perception is reality. If I think you're unified, you're unified. If I think you care, you care. So it's more important how other people perceive you than sometimes we perceive ourselves erroneously. And then we focused on emotional intelligence and dealing with stressful situations. And rather than talk about the technology, we talked about how do we deal with students going through tough situations without getting emotionally overwhelmed. There's a term, many caregivers, it's called compassion fatigue, which implies that you care so much that you take it all inside. It's empathy. And that can be overwhelming. Or it could, that might be the case. If that's the case, even if it's not the case, it could be that you're just tired of people whining. So, and that's overwhelming. But nonetheless, how do we deal with it? So self-awareness, what are we feeling, and with what consequences? What we talked about, we can get overwhelmed by the emotions of their situations, and it will affect how we deal with everything in our job. We will not be at our best, and we need to be at our best. That's that mirroring thing I talked about. Let me find my viruses to remind you. It can be overwhelming. So self-regulation is, we need to take this out of the picture. Step 2 is, what can we say or think to reduce the impact of these negative emotions? So here's some things, and I talked to my doctor about this because she has the same things to deal with. She has to stay positive no matter what her patients bring to her. So one of the things we can say, positive self-talk. I can't help them unless I take care of myself. I can't help them if I'm overwhelmed, and my job is to help them. I am in control of my attitude, not them. I'm in control. I choose to be positive no matter what. Somebody has to listen to them, and it's part of my job to show that we care and to listen to them. And that's my job, and I love my job. Those are all self-affirming, self-regulation statements. And I'm going to do my best without feeling bad. And I'm going to end with a story in a little bit. So self-motivation is, what can we do? What can we fix? And this is what this is the first thing out of my doctor, Dr. Shepard. She's a wonderful human being. She says, you have to stay in the moment. You have to do your best in a situation, and don't take it home or keep it inside. Don't take it home. Don't let today ruin tomorrow is the message. And that's the big message of emotional intelligence. I struggled with our technology problems yesterday, but you know what? That was yesterday. So today I came back and I have to get on technology to record this, but I'm not going to let yesterday ruin today. Never going to let yesterday ruin today. I'm responsible for my own well-being. So I need to vent. I need to deal with my own emotions. And that's where this team can help. We can be each other's venting buddies. As you go through the coaching session with a student, what are the options, upside and downside for each? And we talked about that in somewhat like yesterday. I could refer them to counseling. I may want to speak to parents. I may want to get involved. But the reality is, if they come to you, there's a reason. Or maybe they shouldn't be coming to you. Maybe that's something that you have to fix. But there's always something you can do. I'm going to end with I'm going to talk about the starfish story. And it's a story of a man going down a beach, and he sees somebody running from the beach to the shore. And as he catches up, he realizes that the tide has stranded a bunch of starfish, thousands, millions of starfish. And this man is running, grabbing a starfish, throwing it back in the ocean to save its life. And he's doing that. And the first guy says, you know what? You can't possibly make a difference. There's millions of starfish. And he said, and this is your job to remember this, he said, it makes a difference to this starfish. And he threw it back. You can't help them all, but boy, heavens, when you do, how gratifying that can be. So that's the starfish story, and I think it applies for what we talked about yesterday. For some follow-up, I'd like you to share the reports with each other, your own reports, and where it had improvement areas. I think we recorded that before. Discuss the improvement areas with each other and say, you know what, validate them, and always be looking, how can we be a more unified team? If you are to be a team, wouldn't it be nice if you were a unified team and you felt that and people could see solidarity, if that's the right word? Vent your emotions with each other when you need to. Your 3 high S styles who tend to be like this. So you get to know each other and read each other, and it's okay to vent. What's not okay is to keep venting and not do anything differently. That's not okay. You can be each other's venting buddies. So my homework is I'm going to send you the team wheel that I promised. I'm going to send you the debriefing guide. I'll send you a document called the top 10 engagement questions, which are just generic for an organization, but we could maybe talk about how your engagement and your staff and apply that to the staff that you talked about. And I'll send you both recordings in a link. So I'm going to record this one and then I'll send you the first one. First one's kind of long, but I like to keep my promises. So I still committed to 3 hours of your time. So I take that very seriously, as I hope you take your job seriously. So let me show you the engagement cycle and walk you through it. And I just got to get this on slideshow. Here we go. We talked about in the middle. So this is worth discussing in only because you want to be an engaged team, or you want your staff involved. We already talked about trust and respect and support and ethical actions and fairness and all that yesterday. We assume that if that's there, you're engaged. If it's not there, you're likely disengaged or actively disengaged. So if somebody that you work with, outside of the 3 of you, doesn't seem to be engaged, then you kind of look in the center and say, what's the reason? It's likely in there. This is, again, based on sound psychological research from social psychologists in the 60s who looked at productivity, and I've used this for years, and this is my, I think, finest version of this model. So assuming we're engaged, then we can expect to see equal effort. People higher motivation level tends to put quality in quantity of effort. So if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't seem to be putting in the effort, we got to look and say, okay, maybe they're disengaged, and then wonder what's going on. So it always points to the center. And so this is a wheel, and it's a cycle that gets faster and faster. But if the effort's there, then we need to clarify roles. Now, Neha's gone through roles, so what are we supposed to do? What are we responsible for, etc.? Don't worry about that acronym, because you've got fairly clear roles based on what Neha. So as long as the role fits your skills and traits, for example, I'm a high D and high I, and if my role in a low theoretical, if my role is to do a whole lot of research and generate data and reports, I won't be motivated. I'll be disengaged, because the role doesn't take advantage of my natural traits and strengths and what turns me on, if you like. But assuming that's okay, then do I have at point 4 the resources? If I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't have the resources to do it, I don't have the training I need, I don't have the technology, whatever resources could be, personal development. If that's not there, even though the role's fine, then I won't feel valued and respected, and it'll weaken the center. Everything weakens the center, or it goes back to the center. Assuming that's okay, I get interactions. We get our weekly meetings. We talk to each other, and we feel valued and respected, and all the regular reinforcement, not recognition so much, but it is recognition. We compare the weekly interactions to what we expect in the middle. And if it's positive, it reinforces this. This goes through the roof. We become more and more engaged. The effort increases, and the wheel just starts spinning positively. If, however, anything reflects in the middle and weakens it, then we become slightly, then completely, then actively disengaged. And it's inevitable. That's my relationship cycle. And I hope that made sense in the interest of the time that we have. So let me escape from there. And I think that covers it. I'll send you everything else in an email. I just got to find a way to end my recording here. I will send you this recording and a YouTube link for the other one. And I want to thank you for your time and patience. It was important that we did this a little better because of the time constraint from yesterday. It was important to me anyway, so we closed the loops. And I hope this has been helpful. I would love your feedback on what you liked about this thing from me personally. I know what I didn't like. I felt rushed in some other things, but it was important. Did it help you? Did the message make a difference? That's more important than any clumsiness in the technology. Did you leave with something that will help you move forward? That's my mission. Did I make a difference? So thank you for all of that. I'm going to stop sharing. I guess I'm done. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop the whole thing. Sorry.